Vine is trembling inside while she stood in front of her dad, who is looking at her as if she wants a good daughter to him, like despite being the best dad in the world. Vine, Dad, please, I don't want. He slapped her cheek, making her stop, preventing her from saying what she wanted, or rather, what she didn't want. Yes, she had no right to express her desires to her dad. Her tears welled up in her eyes, but before they could fall from her silent gaze, she heard him speaking almost like a warning. One day, you are going to marry him, that's final. Don't keep asking me to stop this wedding. Saying that he left angry, she lost her balance sitting on the sofa as her tears finally fell. She looked at the floor helplessly as an old lady approached her in a wheelchair, causing Vine to glance at the lady. Upon seeing her, Vine wiped her tears with the back of her hands. The old lady with a heavy heart tapped on shoulders, indicating that she had already seen what happened sadly. Vine felt even more sad knowing that her grandma was getting sad only because of her. Grandma, I'm sorry, Vine. I also asked him, but he isn't listening to me. I can do nothing to stop your wedding with that man. Vine, why, Grandma? Has my dad never shown a hint of love? Not even once? Grandma, he is a heartless man, Vine. Don't expect love from him. He has been killing so many people since he became a mafia. Vine didn't speak to her grandma, her eyes filled with sadness like a puppy's. Grandma, Vine, we also don't know who that guy is. What if he is not like your dad? What if he is a good person? Marry him. How can you think he would be a good man, Grandma? If dad chose a man for me, it's absolutely that man would be cruel as well. It's okay, Grandma, I'll marry him. Otherwise, Dad won't let us be at peace. Grandma smiled slightly as she side hugged Vine, speaking in her mind. Who knows, Vine? You can't predict what tomorrow holds. Days aren't always the same, but I'll pray to God to always keep you safe. Even if not now, your future has to be changed. Vine's mother lost her life when she was 2 years old, and Mr. Kim was always rude, even to his mom and daughter. Vine never received affection from her dad. Whenever she got hurt, she convinced herself to beat it, as she couldn't do anything against her dad. She couldn't hate him just because he was heartless. Her hope was that her dad would change himself and love her, even though he didn't allow Vine to attend regular school, opting for homeschooling, and shaped her life with her friends. She has never received any proposals, despite her beauty. She doesn't even believe she is beautiful. This is how her dad shaped her into a lonely life. Vine loves her grandma dearly. She would do anything for herself. Unfortunately, her grandma's health wasn't good and she lost her legs in an accident. At least in this household, Vine gets concern only from her grandma. Time skipped to the wedding day. In a dimly lighted room, the bride Vine looks at herself in the mirror, sadness evident in the shiny lace of her white gown. Beside her, her rather yet loving grandma moving with slow grace, carefully adjusting the veil that once adorned her own youth, silently not speaking, as she too is sad. But then she breaks the silence. Grandma, dear, please try to smile, otherwise you will die. My son will get angry. One, is it my wish to marry someone I don't even know? And you expect me to smile, Grandma? It's hard for me to hide my pain and look even in the slightest normal. Grandma, I know, but I'm afraid. What if your dad slaps you if he gets angry seeing your face like this? Why? There is nothing for you to be afraid of. My dad won't even see my face. He only looks at me when he needs to talk to me or orders me to do something. Grandma, it hurts here, pointing at her heart. I prayed to God always that I wanted a man in my life who will love me madly and give me whatever I want, which I am not getting from my dad. She cups Vine's cheek, sadly placing a gentle kiss on Vine's forehead. Grandma, I wanna apologize again. Vine was about to say something, but they both heard Kim's scream and gunshots. The sounds terrible. They both looked at each other in tension. Vine, Grandma, I'll check, don't come outside. Grandma, no, I'll come. Why? No, stay here until I come back. Even though she was scared of guns, she made her grandma stay. Wine, gripping her white gown, runs out from the room to see her dad in fear. But when she stepped out of the room, she closed the door. A lot of blood spilled on her face and her dress. In just a second, the beautiful bride, now filled with stains, stepped at her spot, closing her mouth in fear. Hundreds of guards were killing her dad's guards, turning the wedding hall into a funeral. She thought they would kill her and her grandma too, not knowing who they were. She was about to go back, but her legs didn't move when she saw her dad kneeling and coughing in front of someone. That someone's back was facing her, so she couldn't see his face. Kim had already been beaten and his body was covered with injuries. While Ryan was looking at her dad in that worst state, he couldn't even kneel properly with his weakened body. The man raised his gun to the point of Kim's head, appearing as if he definitely gonna kill him without wasting any time. Ryan, calling Kim as dad with a loud scream, started running towards them, gripped by her fear. But she doesn't care about her fear. She only wants her dad to stay alive. Even though her dad didn't love her, she can't hate him. Hearing Ryan scream, her dad raised his head and saw her running towards him, furrowing his eyebrows in pain. When the man looked over his shoulder and saw Ryan, his eyes widened brightly. She reached her dad, knelt down and hugged him, closing her eyes tightly, crying in fear. She kept saying, "Please don't kill my dad," non-stop, making her dad's face go blank in disbelief at how much she wanted him alive, even though he was true to her. Meanwhile, the man who pointed the gun at Kim's head wanted to see her face, since she was facing away from him. Jungkook, wow, Mr. Kim's study is interrupting my way. What should I do? Mockingly asked Kim. The mafia king Jungkook, who is 27 years old but has already killed thousands of people at a young age. Kim, still in wonder. Then Jungkook, without hesitation, shoots a bullet into Kim's left shoulder, making him scream. The blood from Kim's shoulder spilled on Ryan's face. She broke the hug and looked at the king in fear with teary eyes, joining her hands together, pleading for him. Jungkook lost himself when he saw her pure innocent face with blood stains. Even though her face wasn't now visible, he could sense her beauty. "One, please leave my dad," she cried, asking, but stopped when she heard him, which made all of them freeze. "Jungkook, marry me then." It made her mouth shut. How could she agree to marry him? He is dangerous. In just a few seconds, he shot her dad in front of her eyes, and his guards were killing her dad's guards on the other side. He smirked at her silence, tilted his head, and gazed at Kim with a sarcastic expression. "Jungkook, Mr. Kim, looks like your daughter loves to see her dad's death. I would like to grant her wish." He raises his gun to the right position to shoot, but she moves her body like a wall in front of her dad, making sure that if Jungkook shoots, it only hits her body, not her dad. "One, please don't, I'll marry you." Her voice trembled in fear, not properly. But Jungkook got the answer he wanted from her. "Jungkook, what?" "Please, I'll marry you. Please, please, please." After getting the answer from her, now he touched her by pulling her right shoulder, making her stand, leaving her dad. It sent shivers of impending doom down her spine. He gestured to one of his guards, and the guard went to the trembling priest who had been watching from a corner. The guard, dragging him to Jungkook, bowed and stepped away. Jungkook pointed the gun at the priest. "Jungkook, if you don't want to die, start the marriage vows. I'm John Jungkook, the king of South Korea, and you also know the bride, who she was." He points at Ryan. The priest nods forcefully, as if not complying with the mafia king's command would lead to his death. The priest starts sweating vows, struggling to control his trembling. How could he stay calm when the groom had changed and the new groom had killed many of them in just a few minutes ago? As for the bride's matter, she was also trembling, covered in bloodstains. Her tears are still flowing down her cheeks, but they aren't enough to clean the bloodstains on her face. Meanwhile, her dad is bearing the pain of bullets and injuries, unable to steady himself even to witness. He started sweating there. The wedding hall was filled with so many dead bodies, and the priest was almost finished the vows.